to Palestine, you want to go to a third country, or you want to go to Israel. These are the four choices that he has to have. So this is why we have to agree on a number with Israel, upon its own discretion of the number of refugees that go to Israel. And with each category comes compensation. That's how the refugee problem will be solved in accordance with international law. And we came a long way with the Israelis in discussing this. Yes, the number they offered to go back to Israel was negligible, and this is why we're going to try very, very hard to improve on the number. The principle was discussed and agreed. And as far as East Jerusalem is concerned, I can tell you, Michael, you are the son of East Jerusalem. Israelis will not annex you and 325,000 Christians and Muslims and make you Israelis. They don't want that. So we came a long, long, long way in Jerusalem. And by the way, we're not caring about dividing Jerusalem as Palestinians. We want to have our state with East Jerusalem as its capital, next to Israel, and then we can find formulas, because we should stand tall as Palestinians. No one should tell the difference between a Muslim stone or a Christian stone or a Jewish stone. We are so proud. We have never had a sectarian clash before the emergence of Zionism in our land. Jews, Christians, and Muslims have lived there for thousands of years without any clash. When Christians destroyed each other and Muslims in Lebanon, Palestine was the refuge. Armenians found refuge in Palestine. And that's the story of all the communities in Palestine. Jews have always lived in Palestine, Christians and Muslims, never a sectarian clash before the emergence of those who came from Russia in the 1880s. So we need to have a solution, but I know now it's difficult because you're angry, Palestinians are angry, Palestinians are mad, Palestinians are disappointed, and they have every right to be so. They have every right to be so. But you don't build nations on anger and vengeance. You don't. It's not healthy for us as Palestinians to be angry and vengeance. We should reach out. This is, at the end of the day, that's the choice. The choice is that all religions happen to be in this 1 square kilometer. What can I do? I cannot change it. I have to live with it and accommodate with it. Thank you.
Can I take one more round of questions? Perhaps I'm going to come to a closer.
You mentioned extremism in your lecture. I just wondered how you would describe your party's actions in combating extremism.
Okay.
My party?
How your party is combating or plans on combating extremism.
Okay. Thank you.
You mentioned very eloquently how America's interests as borders are now wider than they used to be, and now border Afghanistan and Iraq. General Petraeus said something very similar in testimony to the US Senate, where he said that the animosity towards America as a result of the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians was resulting in dead Americans in Iraq and Afghanistan. So following from that, what do you perceive to be the likelihood of America taking a different stance towards the situation in Palestine with regard to the fact that it now has different interests in the Middle East? You asked the question in your presentation rhetorically, but didn't answer it. If Israel doesn't accept the two-state solution, what would America do?
Let's take one more. Final one. There's one more. Two more.
No,
So
you
two
go
more.
for it.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
I wonder if you think there are any lessons that can be learned from other recent peace processes, such as Northern Ireland, maybe in the Balkans, that can be applied in the case of the Middle East, or if it's kind of a case apart.
Just a quick question, thank you. You've said that you haven't wasted a single minute or single chance in the past 18 years. You also said that you've exhausted pretty much all your options. But would you say, taking all the factors into consideration, that the Oslo process has improved the lives of ordinary Israelis and Palestinians?
As far as combating extremism, I said you don't fight ideas with guns. And by the way, wherever you have desperation, you have desperate acts. So deal and solve the desperation, the cause of desperation. And that's why I said two things are needed to fight extremism: democracy in the Arab world and a two-state solution for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. These are the two elements that will provide us to combat extremism of any kind. As long as you have the root causes, it's very, very difficult to avoid anger, desperation, and desperate acts. And we're doing a lot in terms of trying to convince you now, like I'm doing now here, to convince you that peace is doable. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to send slogans. I showed you maps. I showed you where we came. I showed you what concepts we're talking about. Refugees, Jerusalem, borders, percentages, exchange, all of this. And when I say that it's time for decisions, honestly, I said to my president, sir, I cannot do any more negotiations without giving me a precise figure on the percentage of swap. I cannot have any of my 12 committees function. I have 127 individuals, male and female Palestinians, working in 12 committees, but I cannot go in a single round of negotiations without knowing the percentage, the borders, and the percentage of swap. I cannot. So I'm waiting for them to finish this, and I believe if we have the end game agreement, if we can stand and say this is it, we have finished conflict, end of claims, 2 states, 6-7, disagreed swaps, I believe this is how you fight extremism, not in Palestine and Israel, but also throughout the whole region. But mind you, what I said to you, that the second element, which is not less important than peace, is democracy in the Arab world. The situation cannot be tolerated anymore. And we must do whatever it takes to have democracy in the Arab world to fight extremism. As far as General Petraeus is concerned, I saw his statements. Actually, before him, Admiral Mullen, Mike Mullen, the Joint Chief of Staff, came to see the President, and I was with him, my President Abu Mazen, and he echoed the same thing. He told him, you know, Kandahar, Dakar, and Qom don't ring bells in the hearts and minds of Muslims and Arabs. I need to bring my kids home. I need a Palestinian state. We have to. Help me build the institution of Palestinian state. So that's why I said they did not wake up one morning, Michelle, and felt their conscience aching for me. I suffered more than anyone can suffer. And the most difficult thing on earth is to be a Palestinian nowadays. There is nothing more difficult than being a Palestinian. So the realization in the US. Now, as far as the